Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another exciting episode of Ladies, Get Your Prance On. And my guest today is Kim B. Smith, all the way from Michigan. Welcome, Kim.
Don't you love this technology, Lisa? You're like all the way from Michigan, and you're like all the way over there on the west side of the state. I love it. And thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
I know, and I think Michigan sent us some sunshine because we are going to have like in the mid 80s all this week. So I'm really excited to have some good weather. So tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're in Michigan. Tell us what it is that you do.
Well, I do a numerous amount of things. I have a local business here in the Detroit area. It's a fitness business. I've had this fitness business for has it been about 28 years, give or take a second or two? Yes. It's very small, Lisa. It was big. It was huge at one time. I keep it very small. I'm the CEO and the founder of Bold Radio Station, which is an internet radio station. And let me see, what else do I do? I'm a speaker. I'm a #1 international best-selling author. And I work with women. I do a lot of business consulting as far as setting up strategies, processes, so they have less overwhelm, less stress, and they can spend more time with their family and also more time, very importantly, to grow the business.
I absolutely love it. So we were talking a little bit before the show started, and being in Michigan, you're 3 hours difference. And so tell me what you've already done today, this morning so far.
I'm laughing because we were talking about this because I was in awe of you. Look at your hair is done, makeup, lipstick, and it's early out where you're at. And anyways, what I have done so far, first of all, I'm coming off of being on vacation last week. So I'm just getting back into the routine of reality. And I accidentally slept in a bit this morning. Sleeping in to me is getting up at 6 a.m. That's a sleep in.
Wow.
So get up, I feed Grace, my love of my life, 5-year-old black lab. I meditate, I'll read, check in with the internet here, and then I get dressed and I fly out the door. I go teach a fitness class. I came home, I grabbed Grace and I took her to daycare, came back and I thought, I've got Lisa this morning. I better eat so I can be human for this interview. Had breakfast, cleaned up the kitchen, started answering some emails from being gone last week and sitting down, and here I am.
Wow. And you're put together. You're saying, I have a ponytail. And I'm like going, you've already had half a day. For just for us starting off here in the morning here in Washington. We're going to be talking about the 3 steps to a powerful voice today. And what does that mean to you? I have my ideas of what that means to me, but what does that mean to you, the 3 steps to a powerful voice?
Well, something, first and foremost, Lisa, our voice is so powerful. It's such a vibrational healing sound. So either with our voice, we can either heal or harm. And we have a hell of a lot of harm going on with our voices right now. And collaboratively as a world. I don't just mean in this country that you and I live in. I don't mean in other countries. I mean, as a world, we're doing a lot of harming with our voice. And we have, as human beings, we have 2 voices. We have an inner voice, and then we have the voice that you and I are utilizing. It's the physical sound that we all hear. And I want to back up here this is the first thing that we do when we're birthed and miraculously brought into this world when we come through a birth canal. The first thing that a baby does is, the screaming, the crying, which is the indication that the baby is okay. The infant is breathing and things like that. But it's the first thing that we do when we're brought into this world is we make that sound. So our voices are so powerful. Our head, I call her the hag in the attic. She's literally a hag in the attic, that voice and this voice. So we can either harm or we can heal. And that's what the power of the voice means to me. It's all by choice too.
I'm wondering why people are taking advantage of using their voice now more than ever, because we have this social media. I'm recording this, video, but I'm also going to be downloading it on radio. So depending on who's listening or watching the show, we have the opportunity to use our voice for good. And right now, especially with the political field going on right now with the bashing of the two the two parties. And then we have over in England, you know, they're having their conflict going on. And then people, because of social media, there'll be like one little story that's absolutely tragic that's going on, like with the gorilla and the child, and people get so pinpoint and focused on the I mean, these things are very tragic and they're very real, and politics, we need to know about those. But why do you think that people are focused on that instead of the opposite? Why are they not focused on the loving side, or the good that's come out of this, or the knowledge, or the understanding that we can grow from these things?
You know, Lisa, it's so interesting you're asking that question this morning. I have not been on Facebook for a week now. When I was in Costa Rica, I had my phone, which is completely turned off, sitting here. I had my phone, and that was my only way of communicating to my husband through instant messaging through Facebook. We could call each other, you know, for free. It was an international charge. Yeah. And I was just checking in on Facebook, making sure I schedule posts, and I also show up as a human being and interact on posts. And I was just making sure my posts were scheduling, that were going out for my show later on today and some things I've got going on this week. And you know, I started getting nauseous. I started to get, like, my ink stress level started going up a little bit with that Facebook. And it's like, I don't, you know, we have always been a society of fear. We purchase TVs based upon fear. We purchase a car based upon fear. We hire a coach based upon fear, because we feel we won't be something that we do have the internal answers. We may need help getting there. I'm all about support and helping on arriving to this, but our whole society has been based upon fear-based decisions. Mm-hmm. I think with social media, things have magnified by 100-fold. It's insane. It's really out of control. I don't like to watch our news. I love David Muir on World News Tonight. I like him, so I may flip that on for 30 minutes. Yeah. But I don't need to watch the news otherwise. I can just go to Facebook and find out there's been a bomb here and a shooting here, and this is going. It's like, wow, people. Okay, yeah, we did have a little boy fall down. Still amazes me, that 4-year-old, how he got down there. Boy, he was a determined little boy.
He was a determined little boy.
I know. Yeah, because there was multiple fences and all this stuff to get down there. Number one, number two, and then, you know, thank goodness he's safe. Unfortunately, a gorilla died of it, you know. But enough of it already. It has happened. Let the family be. Let the police do what they have to do, and the zoo, and let that all be. But we just pound, and I have bought in, I'm completely sold, that people love negativity. We're such an unhappy society that I'm sold on the fact that misery totally loves company.
And I think it's an addiction too.
Yes, it is.
I believe I was listening to, I can't think of what his name is, but he was talking about how the average person watches 4 hours of television a day. Oh. And the average person watching 4 hours of television a day means they're giving up 13 years of their life. And so what's on that television that's causing people to check out? And the same thing goes for being on Facebook and social media. You know, my business thrives because of social media. I mean, so it is my tool to connect with other people and build my business and support one another. But at the same time, I'm also mindful of getting away from it, you know, and I've never commented in a political comment, because it's none of my business who anybody votes for. It's none of my business what religious affiliation you may or may not be. It's none of my business. And so I don't make it my business. And it's like, if people just focused on, like, let's say they want to support a politician, well, then support them, but don't focus on bashing the opponent, because
the opponent,
it's like, you know, talk about the good things that you like about your person, but at the same time, I want people to know that might be listening or watching, you're not going to change anyone's opinion by bashing somebody else's person that they support, whether it be political, religion, anything. You're not going to change anyone's opinion by bashing them. So why waste your energy? That's kind of my point. Why waste our time and our energy on things that really don't serve us? They don't do us any good.
Well, Lisa, I agree with you because I love having conversations about. I'm not religious; I'm more spiritual, but I'm open to hear. I mean, if you are a person that follows a Catholic or and believes that you have to drive to a brick and mortar on Sunday to have the love and the acceptance and faith of God, I have at it. Yeah. I don't mind having those conversations. I don't mind having the political conversations because we are in a presidential election year here in the United States. I don't mind having any kind of conversation. What I do mind is allow me to voice my opinion and don't shut me down because it doesn't agree with your lifestyle or your opinions. See, that's how I learn. That's how I grow. I want to hear other opinions so I can go, oh gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's something that I need to spend a moment on, or maybe it's something that I need to learn further on. And I was just in a situation like that, Lisa, where some people start talking about politics because it's a presidential election year and we're making dual history. We have a woman and we have a non-politician. That's double history we got going on here. Yay, raw. But I had a longtime friend say to me, gosh, I'm a staunch Republican and da-da-da-da. And I said, oh, that's very interesting. And let me clear the air right here now. On November 5th, today through November 5th, I don't know who I'm going to vote yet. I don't know yet. So I said to her, I'm so bad with controversy. I said to her, I would at this point would probably vote for Trump. And you know what she said to me? Oh my God, I can never talk to you again. And I thought you were an educated person.
Yeah.
And I will not share on the air what I replied back after that. Yeah. I'll hold that back to myself. But that's not fair. I live in America. I'm at choice, and it goes back to with this Facebook thing, and you and I do have thriving businesses, thank you to social media. Yeah. And I believe everyone should use social media. It's free, for God's sakes. It's a nice marketing tool. It's not a cure-all, but it's free. Use it. I mean, these companies have created this for business owners or non-business owners, whatever. Use it. But it's when we start looking at the parents of this little boy who did fall down into the gorilla. It's like none of us were there. We can only take what the media is telling us and back off. I mean, I have no opinion on parenting. I'm not a parent. I have no stance on that. I'm not a parent. So, that just goes to show how debilitating our voices can be.
Yeah. And people in social media can be so cruel in that situation. It boggles my mind. And there's a lot of trolls out there too. I tell people, when I put videos out there, or I put my shows out there, I mean, people are allowed to comment. And I don't read the comments because, that's all ego based. So if people say, oh, Lisa, I loved it. Oh, you're wonderful, blah, blah, blah. That feeds my ego. And if they bash me or they make a comment or they don't agree with what we're talking about, blah, 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 they're entitled to have that opinion. But once again, that's for my ego. And so that's been my biggest growth the last 2 years, I think, Kim, is to realize, am I feeding my ego or am I feeding my soul and my spirit? And, you talked about religion. I tell people that if you look in any religion, no matter what it is, no matter what anyone's faith is, you can find something good. Every religion that I've met, every person, every denomination, I have found something really cool that I didn't know before. And so I'm open. I'm not asking anybody to try to convert me because I'm here to learn and I'm here to grow. And my message is love. I grew up in a very conservative, grew up a Lutheran, and there were many good things about it. But at the same time, I was also scared. I was the wrath of God. I was always afraid if I did something wrong or if I said something wrong, God was going to, strike me. He's going to like take me out. And I grew up afraid. And I'm like, God is love. God shouldn't be based on fear. But I still have many close family members who are active in the church, and I have nothing against the church. I choose to do my own thing. I believe in God, but my God is love. My God is not based on fear.
We've lost sight as a society. We've lost sight of love. And, I think before we went live here, Lisa, I should have got a permission. And so I'll tap really lightly around this word. It's, the F word, F-U-C-K.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I knew I loved it on my show.
Yeah, I love it. So, I love it. I knew there was something about you I love. But anyways, I come back. So many people are so tripped around that word. It's a word, for God's sakes. It's in our vocabulary. It's a word. But you know what really, really, really gets me the most is people get offended by that word, but they'll use another 4-letter word, H-A-T-E, hate, all day long. Yeah. And we are a hate-driven society. The other lot of other so-called controversial, trending topics that really bother me, that people just go, these people are effed up and these people are messed up. Transgenders, are you kidding me? They're a human being. Listen, I have a show on a Wednesday show we just launched 2 months ago. It's very controversial. We have a woman coming on that show who, at the age of 65, transitioned after living a whole life of a very predominant trial attorney down in Kentucky, very successful, living a whole life of stress, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, unhappy, and knew at the age of 5 was in the wrong body. At 71, she gave up a lot. She started over when she transitioned a 35-and-a-half-hour surgery. At 65, she now has low cholesterol, low blood pressure. She's healthy. She's happy. And I'm not here to judge that. All I'm here to say is, since when does love have a gender, a boundary, a color, a shape, a size? It's love. It's a human being, And so that's the other thing that is really trending right now is this transgender thing, which has been around. If you saw the movie, The Danish Girl, that's the transgendering. That whole thing has been going on for many, many years. Number one. Number two, and gay and lesbian. First of all, Lisa, I get so passionate about the fact that these are human beings. Why do we have to have gay and lesbian rights? Whatever happened to human being rights? Okay, so because they're in love with someone of the same gender, who am I to say, oh, no, you can't do that? I mean, go love. I mean, there are some same-sex marriages that are raising children far better than a heterosexual marriages. I mean, who are we all to judge? And I think it comes back to fear because of they're doing something different. Maybe their skin color's brown or black or yellow or whatever, of a different culture or descent. It's like, bring it on. Just because I am not a woman that only has my eyes showing and I'm completely, I'm completely covered like a Muslim, I would love for them to be living in my neighborhood. Send me over your homemade meal, though, please. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm open. Let me learn. I understand. Let me learn about the different cultures. But we're so fearful of that because it comes back down to the white society, because I'm going way back centuries, and how the white man.
You go, girl. This is your platform. I love it.
You're so sweet. But it's always been the white man, and I forgot about the white man that was driving this whole society many, many years ago. I mean, I'm talking way back to the roots, with the slavery and stuff.
Yeah.
That woman that will be on my show in August said to me when she transitioned at 65 from a white male in Kentucky in the South as a predominant trial attorney. Yeah. She lost all white men rights. She lost so much because she goes, at 65, I had to start over. She goes, I had to start over. And it's like, Wow. And not just do I not want to just understand that and be reminded of that, but I want to understand emotionally what is going on with these people living lies their whole lives, and how they get that courage and that bravery to come forth and do something. And I had a long conversation. I don't mean to minimize anything, but I want to learn if she can put into words, or anybody that is transgendered, what that felt like being in that body prior to the transgender. And, and I'm not a scientist or a doctor, Lisa, but, when a man and a woman came together to create this person, were there too many XYZ chromosomes and stuff like that? We have Down syndrome and we don't look at that like that's wrong. And I mean, and that's, that's from a woman having too many elderly aches in her, but we don't curse that. So was there something scientifically like that when a man and woman came together that created something in these children that feels so out of sorts in their body? I don't know, but that's what I'm saying about the power of voice. We don't stay in curiosity. We become asses instead of asking. We become asses and ask. And I can be guilty of that. I can be guilty of that.
I think we all have. I think we all have it. My viewpoint on things is much different. I was raised in a very conservative, Republican, military household, so that's how it was. And I became friends with a black man who was gay. We both worked for a law firm, and we became really, really close. And I learned more. And I've always been open to I'm attracted to gay men because they make me feel good, and I make them feel good. Everyone needs to have. Once again, this is me throwing out a prejudice, but all the gay men that I've worked with or I've become friends with, they accept me and love me for who I am. And they encourage me to be who I am. They encourage me to use my gifts. I held back that I was a card reader because I didn't want to be judged. Someone said, years ago when I was in my 20s, they said, stay away from Lisa. She's a witch. She reads cards. She's not a Christian. And it got to me and it shut me down. And I've had to learn to push through all that. I'm going to be 58 years old this summer. And it's just like, I'm still learning and I'm still growing, but I also I catch myself in judgment. I catch myself still in gossip. People will call and they'll talk to me about something. All of a sudden the conversation slips and going, yeah, did you see what so-and-so posted on there? And then I have to catch myself and realize, ooh, that's not good. That's why every day we wake up, this is how we have to set our day. Every day we wake up with the idea, it's a fresh day. And I'm going to be the best person I can be today. And, like my friend Patrick, like he said, I am black. I was raised in a Republican family. My father's high up in the military. I was in the military. Why would I choose to be gay? Why would I choose as a black man to be gay? That's two double whammies. He goes, that's who I am. And it's beautiful. And he passed away a year ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I wanted to talk about him and just share that he was such a beautiful person, both inside and out. So,
it's never too late. Again, this I hear so much, and I'm really ultra sensitive, Lisa, with sound and voices and stuff. Is because about 17, 18 years ago, I have a closed head injury and I lost hearing in my right ear. So I don't have hearing in my left. So I'm ultra sensitive to sound. Mm-hmm. So I hear a lot what people say. I mean, I'm really like tuned in, and I'm a true believer that hag in the attic, that voice in our heads, is our driving forces to every decision, responsibility, lack of responsibility, every thought that we have. That voice is the major dominating factor of our lives, and it has been controlling us for our whole lives. I'm 56. I mean, I flipped that. I started working on that voice when I was 48. I had a major pivotal aha moment. And I knew that if I didn't switch some things up, I was going down. But that whole voice is not meant to go away, but it is meant to be managed. And there's so many ways to manage that. And Lisa, these ways are free, they're complimentary, and they're easy. But we make it so convoluted because we've got so much stuff coming at us left and right. One of the ways that we can help, and again, this is not about controlling. I want everyone to hear my words, manage. Because the moment we think we're trying to control that voice, for everybody that's listening, and I, again, don't have kids, but if you ever have a teenager and try to outscream a teenager, that's what's going to happen with that hag in the attic. And she will win every single time because she's been allowed to win for all these years. So a lot of ways to calm her down and literally put her in her place, because she had that voice has a place. We got to have her, is I am positive affirmation statements. Oh my gosh, so easy. I'm beautiful. I'm loved. They're so easy, and humans resist it, and they work. So that's one way to tone her down. The other way is one of my most favorite ways is meditation. Meditation is like you were just saying, set the intentions for the day. Become more aware that if you spent 5 minutes too long on Facebook and you're starting to get into that negative stuff, turn it off, pull away, leave, go take a deep breath, go take a walk, do something that you enjoy doing to decompress. Because what happens is when we get caught up in that, that's where she starts taking over again. And she does. She controls us when we're supposed to be managing it. And that's not our true selves up here, by the way. Our true selves come from, like you said, our souls. I call it down to our souls, the very bottom of our pretty tiptoe, pedicured toes of our souls.
Definitely. It's interesting you say that, because one of the assignments that I give all my clients is to practice self-love. I talk about mirror love. I first read about it from Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of who Louise Hay was, and she called it mirror work. And so I called it mirror work too, about doing your affirmations out loud in front of the mirror. So one of the assignments I give to my clients is to say out loud your name. So it'd be like, Kim, I love you. What good may I do for you today? And then after that is going to be the action steps you're going to do that day. So I'm going to have a wonderful show with Kim today. I'm going to go for a walk today and be filled with gratitude on that walk. I'm going to be mindful of the foods that I eat, that they give me lots of positive energy. And so I have my clients text me every day the word done. So that telling me that they've done their mirror love. And I would say out of the last 50 clients that I work with, maybe 2, because I have them do it for 2 weeks. Maybe 2 did it for 2 weeks out of 50. It's like, why don't people feel that they deserve to be loved and to attract love? And what happens is, well, something's going to go wrong. I'm afraid to ask for something big from the universe. So they go back, the fear, like you said, the ego, the fear. But our heart wants to give us everything. But that fear, like you said, you go onto Facebook, and so you're seeing these positive messages, but then over there on the right is the feed. Shot and killed, murdered, accident, derailment, whatever it is, it's over there. And so it's just like, do I feed my fear, or do I stay on task? Why am I on Facebook? I'm here to connect and share the message of love. So we've got ego over to the side of Facebook, or we have love that's in our feed. And so important.
I agree with you, Lisa. We, especially women, we're in front of the mirror a lot. We're, blowing our hair, putting on makeup and things like that. And one of the first places I tell clients, and the kids that I work with as well, is take those Post-it notes and put it on that mirror, so that when you're in there brushing your teeth and, blowing out your hair, you see those the first thing in the morning, and you see them at the end of the day. And we had a teenager one time. I facilitated an 8-week leadership course. It's a nonprofit that I volunteer for. And we teach them the power of the I am affirmation statements. And one of them came in after that week and said, oh my God, I took all my Post-its, I put it on a big, huge Post-it board, and I put it on my ceiling. So when I go to bed at night, it's the last thing I see. And when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I see. And I just looked at her and went, wow, you rock. adults, we didn't even think about that. But those, I laugh with all my clients. They look at me like I'm cuckoo when I bring out the I am affirmation statements, and it could be something as simple as I am beautiful. Those are 3 words, and those 3 words can be so powerful. Or you could, really, you can drag out your, and get more words into your I am positive affirmation statements. But people look at me, they're like, oh, yeah, I used to do it. Okay, did it work? Yeah. Okay, and you're not doing it now because it doesn't take getting into the car and driving somewhere. It doesn't take much of anything to do those. But it's the other thing with the Facebook thing is, the news feeds of all the negativity and all the things that. Well, our news feed are also, there's a lot of fraudulent fake people that social media piece, Lisa, especially Facebook, has allowed us to do selfies and say, look at us, look at me. But when I come off, I'm in the midst of losing my house. I'm in the midst of, this. I'm in the midst. Lives are falling apart. So there's a lot of fraudulent, irresponsible people. Now, since we've birthed this social media thing, I also see it as I'm driving down the street. We live in a country, a first world abundant country, and we're so inside out and upside down and turny topsy-turvy. Our customer service here sucks. I got off the plane Friday night. My layover was in it.
But Kim, I want to stop you for a second.
Yep, go ahead.
It was so cute. You were talking very confident, and then all of a sudden it sucks. You dropped down. Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
So I'm calling you out on it. Kim, it sucks.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, there you go.
Of mine. Okay, thank you. But yeah, it does. It sucks. I watch people that are so irresponsible, Lisa, and they're fake. And it's that white picket fence syndrome.
Yeah.
There isn't such a thing as a white picket fence. Sure, we can have our white picket fence outside, but after a day, it's going to rain, it's going to get dirty, so you got to go out and wash it. You can apply that to an analogy of life. Look, we're human. We make mistakes. My big thing is, if you vocalize a commitment, stand up to it. If you have to reiterate a commitment, go to the person that you committed to and just speak. I'm sorry. I cannot do this. Can I have more time? Can we do something else? Wait a minute. I've just had 5 million unforeseen things happen in my life. Aging parents, flat tire. Come on, things that we can't plan for. Speak. I need help. How can we work this out? I'm going to pick on our gender for a minute. Women still lack the self-worth, and they will not speak up. And when they do speak up, and you do hold them to a commitment, then they become nasty, bullying bitches. And I've had a lot of that in the last year and a half through an instant message on Facebook. It's like, really? Okay. At least you could do is give me a phone call. But so we can either harm or heal with our voices. Our voices are so powerful.
It's true. It's true. The other thing I want to share to people that are watching or listening today is that what I've done, especially with this political season, when I do have Facebook friends, my little air bunny friends that are spewing out hate, I make sure I unfollow them.
Yes. I do too.
And it's going to be some people that I unfollow till after the political season, and they're entitled. People are entitled on your Facebook page to say whatever you want. You can rant, rave, and spew hate or whatever you want, but it's also up to me not to follow it, and not go down, not get caught up going, why are they saying that? That's not true. That's their story. They are entitled to say what it is. So I also wanted to talk about that. It's up to us as an individual. We can either choose to get caught up in their shit, right? Can I say shit? It's
your show.
We can get caught up in their shit, their drama, or we can choose to just hit the unfollow button and let them be and send love their way. Because people are fearful. They get caught up in the news, and the sky is falling, the world is ending. If this person is president, then I'm moving to Canada. Well, go ahead and move to Canada now. You think everything's, the grass is not greener on the other side? You think that everyone's, and I'm not throwing Canada under the bus, because I have lots of Canadian, Facebook friends, and I love going up to Vancouver. So, and I have friends there. But, the grass is not greener on the other side. And I think sometimes that we're too spoiled, Kim. I think that we have
Yes.
been given so much. You know, I grew up with one black and white TV with rabbit ears. You know, our telephone was on the wall, and we had a party line.
Yes, I remember
Shared it
that.
with 3 other families, and you know, we walked everywhere. We rode our bicycle.
Yes.
You know, when we had to change a channel, we had to go up and, you know, get off our butts and change.
I know it changed it. Yeah.
But I wouldn't give up those days, but at the same time, you know, there are advantages to social media. This is how our business is thriving as a result of it. But I'm so glad that this was your topic that you chose today, because we as women, and there are men that are prancing kittens. You know, I tell people it's kind of like a yaya sisterhood. We don't talk religion, we don't talk politics, because I feel that those two subjects divide people. You know, women, we have enough trouble wanting to trust other women, because so many of us have been hurt, and I'm sure I've hurt people too. I'm not saying I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I haven't gotten caught up in gossip, but I choose to change that. I choose to come together and have these conversations. Yep. You know, and if you want to say fuck and you want to say shit, you should be able to say that. You know,
exactly.
I'm not here to mulch anybody. And if somebody's offended by it, you know, you just choose not to say it or do it. That's okay. But I'm not going to stop other people from wanting to say what they want to say. And like you said, it's just a word. Why does that word offend you so badly? Because you were told that was a bad word.
Right.
And it depends on the context of the word. Like, you can tell somebody, you know, fuck you, or you can say, what the fuck? You know,
exactly.
You know, because you can say something that isn't a swear word, and it can be very hurtful.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
Oh my,
like the word hate.
You.
Yeah.
I've never recalled you, Lisa, being that. I've never seen you so big. You were always so skinny. You know, why are people allowed to say that? You know, why can people, and it's happened to me. So they may as well have told me to fuck off, right? You know, then, you know, I'm happy where I'm at. And if I wasn't happy, I would change what I do and what I look like.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, that's the bottom line, is we're all at choice, and we are at choice to either listen to this hag, that hag in the attic, that hag in the attic, you know, I mean, or we can work through it and start managing her. She controls us, or we can manage her, and we can really be grounded and move forward and live the lives that we so want to, you know, dream and live and be. I think that one thing that women, and this is a whole other show, and so I'm just going to mention this and stop, is I think women in business need to learn how to be firm and factual and extract the emotion. Now,
give an example, Kim.
Well, here's an example: is if a contract goes awry and you want to break the contract early, I always go one step further, and I like to come back around and hold people to their commitment. And it's not just because maybe they signed a contract with me and they're committed to me, not at all. It's a commitment to their clients. It's a commitment to me and my company. It's a commitment, most importantly, to themselves. It's a commitment to themselves, and they're bailing on that commitment. So after we go that round, then I get to hear, oh God, my dog is dying, my kid is this, and my husband is that, and it's that personal baggage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, I say it on my show, I'm going to say it now, and if I need to go out my front door with a megaphone and say it, I don't know how to respond to that stuff anymore. I don't. I mean, I literally have to take those emails and I have to hand them over to my husband and go, all right, I need help, because I don't know how to respond to that anymore. We all have lives. We all have unforeseen obstacles, you know, an emergency with an aging parent. Like I said, a flat tire, you know, a kid gets sick. I get that. But when women start bringing that into the business aspect, you know, surrender and say, you know, God, my dog is having an emergency surgery today, and I am upside down and inside out and sick to my stomach, and I need a shoulder to cry. I need help. But instead, I'm still seeing women go, no, I'm going to do this. And then when you call them out, because I'm all about support and collaboration.
Yeah.
That's when you hear the slew. So I stay very firm and factual. I never respond back to an email right away when a person's in that situation. And that is a victim mode situation. I always wait. I wait a couple of days, and then I reply back to their email being very firm and factual. I let my emotions settle, and then I reply back. A, B, and C.
I love that. I like that formula. I like that formula.
Yep. It doesn't always work though, Lisa. It does not always work. But that's all that I can manage. I cannot control the other person. That's all that I can manage.
We can't control other people. We absolutely, we cannot. The other thing that I want to piggyback on that comment is I also want people to know, if you're not happy with somebody that you're working with, like let's say you're working with coaching, whether it be you or somebody's, working with me with hypnosis, whether it be weight loss or anxiety, whatever it is. If you're not happy with that person for whatever reason, or you don't get it, or you don't agree with them, go to that person and not to other people. Don't go and say, oh yeah, working with Lisa, blah, blah, blah. I had that happen recently.
Yeah, sure.
and it really hurt my feelings.
Yes.
And then I got angry, and then I almost started going down that rabbit path of going, well, blah, 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 and I had to stop. I had to stop and realize, you know what? This is this person's fear and their excuse. They don't want to hear, that's why you come to me. That's why they go to you, is to get to a different direction. They wouldn't be working with us if their life was perfect. They wouldn't be coming and seeking our guidance if their lives were perfect. And sometimes because they don't want to hear what you say, and then they go and they try to maybe, to talk you down. And so I want people that are listening or watching today that if you don't agree with whoever it is that you're working with, whether it be a graphic artist, a web designer, a business coach, a spiritual advisor, go to that person and tell them you're not happy. Tell them that you're confused, or you don't understand, or you don't agree. Not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's okay. The saying, you may be the juiciest, ripest peach on the tree, but there's still going to be people that don't like peaches. And that's okay, and I'm okay with that. I'm not the right fit for everybody. And I don't tell people I'm the right fit for everybody. But if you have a problem with me, or what I say, or what I do, or how I conduct business, then come to me. Don't go to our mutual Facebook friends or whatever. It's very hurtful. And
well, that's the power. That's the power of voice. You can either heal or harm. Yeah. We still have that anxiety and stress, and I'm a firm believer that stress is a main factor in cancer, high blood pressure, unfulfilled life. And there are still so many people that, quote unquote, cannot lean in and speak. Look, Lisa, I hired you, and I'm sorry, I'm a little unclear. I thought we were going to do this. Are we going to get to it, or something like that? But just don't show up and go, hey, Lisa, you know what? I'm pissed off at you because you do you. It's like, watch those fingers, because those other three are facing back. Just take a deep breath. Try very difficult. It can be difficult, but really try to remove those emotions and get firm and factual. I mean, pull out, if there's a contract or a mutual agreement, pull it out. Refer to that. Be firm and factual from that, as opposed to get the you and the accusatory, because that is a lose-lose situation. It's got to be a win-together situation. And I agree with you, Lisa. If you do have a client, or if I'm in a situation and I'm not happy with a graphic designer, go back, say something. Look, I thought we were going to take this direction, or you know what, I need this. Can you do it? If you can't, then, let's come to a mutual agreement of parting ways. Oh my God, it's not life-threatening. But people take that. They're so wrapped up. And, I agree with you. I would feel very hurt too if someone couldn't come to me, and come to me, say something, go to you, say something, but that's the power of the voice that people are not using.
Yeah, it's true. It's a two-way street to communicate. And thank you for staying a little bit extra long, because I think this conversation is really important. So I want to ask you, tell me how long you've been doing your radio show and what inspired you to do it.
Oh my gosh. I'm a talker. I love to talk.
We
I'm
both
a
are.
writer. I know more. Yeah. I launched my radio show. Oh gosh, I think it's 4 years this July on another platform. And I was in the midst of contributing chapters in books. And every time I did a book, I'm like, I am so not a writer, because I get so fulfilled with emotion when I'm writing. The words on paper cannot come out fast enough. And then I get a disconnect between my head, my heart, and that paper and pen. And I've tried multitude of things to really get that across, and it just doesn't work. What I find is, a lot of people find journaling very healing. I took a journal on my trip with me last week. I think I have one page of their bullet points, and that was it. Talking, that sound is so healing. And I find even more talking nowadays is so much more important because, again, of all the electronics and the misconstrued messages that we take away from a freaking email. I mean, it's just an email. How can you get a tone from an email? It's a machine. It's an email. So I really like talking. But when I launched my radio show as a business owner, and Lisa, I'm sure you could relate to this too, this is a marketing tool for us. This is another beautiful leg to our business, but it takes a lot to manage it. Yeah. So I said to myself, how many other entrepreneurs out there are saying that and holding back from having their voices get out there as the experts that they are? Yeah. So I launched Bold Radio Station. We're in our 3rd year, and it's a beautiful service where these hosts can show up, go out there and do a little bit of their marketing, get their guests, and not have to worry about everything else. My team does all that. So that's how I got into it. And plus, I was told when I was younger, I was to be seen and not heard. Ooh. I was to be seen and not heard. And if I was heard, the living daylights would be the wrath of God would come down. So when I was younger, it was so interesting. I was a very shy child, but also too, my parents were, you are to be seen and not heard. You are to be seen and not heard. And so my parents enrolled me in dance lessons at the age of 7, which is a little older for dance lessons, to bring me out of my shy stage. So I had some double-edged sword messages coming at me when I was growing up. So I mean, I was the kid that was out organizing races with the kids, and, I can beat you because I knew I could beat them. And then I'd start charging them pennies and nickels. And my father would open the front door. You have a big mouth. You sound so bossy. Shut it down. So I love to talk. Yeah, because of that. I was to be seen and not heard. And, that voice, we all need to be heard. We all need to be heard, whether we're hurt, crying, jumping up and down with joy, doing a card reading, having a glass of wine with girl. We all need to be heard. Yes. But it's, how are we going to serve? How are we going to serve that message?
Yeah. Shame, I tell you, shame for me has held me back for years, and same thing, be seen and not heard. And I still apply this to my grandchildren. Did your parents used to, when you'd go into a shop, like you'd go on vacation, you'd go into a shop, did you ever have to put your hands behind your back and hold your wrists and don't touch anything?
Don't touch anything.
I do that with my grandchildren. And it really works. I'm sharing that little tip. I see kids going there like little bulls in China shops, but there are some good things that we can take away from our parents where it can be beneficial. Prancing Kittens, I started the group Prancing Kittens, which is the platform that you're on today, because I wanted women to come together and be safe. And I wanted a show where people could get to know who you are instead of just vomiting out what your business and blah, blah, blah. That's all weaving it. But people want to get to know people and trust people and like people. And you're fun. You're fun. You have a voice. And so people that know that you'll allow them to have their voice. That was one of the main reasons I wanted you on there, is because you give women a voice to talk. Yes. And men, and men, we don't want to leave the men out. No. Because we need men in our lives. Yes, and you support us. But it's really important for women to know that they can come together and that they're safe. Yes. The catty bitches need to apply, because I'm my own catty bitch to myself. And
yes, me too.
I'm working on loving myself and forgiving that. And one more thing too, you talked about stress. Stress is the number one killer of women, heart disease. Stress leads to all these different illnesses in our body, and people are focused on breast cancer, and breast cancer is real and it's true and it runs in my family. But I want women to also know that that's like number 5 or 6 on the thing. It is stress. And we as women have to acknowledge that and find ways to remove it. And one of the ways of stress is not getting caught up in the media and the negative side of the media, and not buy into the media. Commercials, the diet industry is a $6 billion a year industry that sets us up to fail. And perception of commercials, they show unrealistic, people in there. That's not the norm. So we have to love ourselves to know that when we do love ourselves, the weight will come off, because that's fear. Whatever's happened to us, I cannot tell you how many of my clients that come to me for weight loss have been abused, either sexually, physically, or emotionally. And so we have to understand that it's those 3 components that puts the weight on. It's a fear, I'm not good enough. Food is an addiction. Sugar is heroin in our bodies. And so that's a whole nother story, and we're going to wrap it up now. Kim,
yes.
How can people find you? How can they get a hold of you? I'm going to attach all the information to the show, but for those that are listening, how can they find you?
Well, there's 2 ways. There's multiple ways. www.kimsmith.com, boldradiostation.com, and it's Kim Boudreau, Boudreau Smith, out there on Facebook, also on LinkedIn, and Twitter as well. Those are the 3 platforms that I dance on. I don't do much past that. So reach out, connect, tell me, yay, I did one thing to change my power of my voice, or, hey, I need help. In between Lisa and I, oh boy, we can really support and tender loving care and move you forward. So please reach out.
I love it. Well, thank you, Kim, so much for joining me today and staying that extra time, because I just felt that we were on a roll and we had to keep the show going to get this information out there. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on here today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. And guess what, everybody? Lisa's going to be on my radio show. I can't remember when it's coming up, in about 2 months, I think. But yes, we'll let you all know.
We will definitely let you know. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We will be back next week. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.